Hey, Lee Vitamonte, and continuing with this, what does it take to get um, vibe coding as a viable resource, integrating certain artificial intelligence tools into the classroom. So if that's your thing, I'm kind of like feeling my way around. Okay, if you already have like some good, I guess, links, contexts, or examples, I will be searching my comments for those. So that'd be great. I am trying to expand my network. But right now, it was just one of those things you just like, okay, I really need to see how can get this to be very practical. So I had a video yesterday where I was kind of filling things out, and I had like my chat GPT page up, and I'm doing something right here in the CSL 920 class, which is a pronunciation class. And so this morning I asked it about getting maybe some kind of vector graphics on the IPA chart. So they pointed me to some pretty good resources. And one of the resources was this American, where is it? This one right here, the American IPA chart, which is this website right here. And I'm very impressed with this website. Awesome. They tell you we have the consonants, and they've kind of put a picture. If you click on the picture, pig, you'll hear the word pig. And if you click on the letter, P, you hear the P sound. So it has the phoneme with an example of how the phoneme is used in American English. Very impressed with the website. And here you are. These are the phonetic symbols there. Also here we have the panther. And then we have the feather. Right? So as we can see, we have this whole website, and I think this website is phenomenal as a phonemic for phonemic awareness. I will be using this website, but now it's like, okay, how do I turn this website into flashcards? Before I go on, they also suggested another website, Sounds in English, and this one is also very good. Man, I'm impressed with what people can do. So if you look at this one, you click on a phoneme, E, and it tries to show you your tongue placement inside the mouth, or it'll show you your labial work, E, right? So this website has the phoneme with the sound, plus how you should produce it muscularly. So that's very awesome, obviously. And I will definitely point my students in this direction, and whoever did it, very phenomenal. But not necessarily what I want, right? I'm trying to make a flashcard game of the phonemes, maybe to get the students to always, what am I trying to say here? To produce the sound, not necessarily just the sound, but certain words. Give them a hint about the phoneme of that word in a flashcard environment, kind of help with vocabulary. But I think that phonemic awareness should be a good part of that. So we looked up the other day, oh, that's not it, flashcard phonemes, and I really liked what they did with this image here. So you have that short O, and then they have the words that not necessarily use the O symbol, like father, hot rock, honest, orange, but you can see that father kind of put in there, even though that A is being used, even though the letter's an A, the sound, the phoneme is this short O. And same thing with boat. We have this OA spelling, so, which is a great one. Yeah, they're really concentrating on the letters and how the letters sort of go with the sounds. I think that's a little harder to remember. And I want my students to be more conscious of the sounds that are being made in English more than the spelling. I think spelling is going to be something that they have to memorize, because they definitely want to be able to read. But I don't have a reading class. I have a pronunciation class. So for pronunciation, I think phonemes are more appropriate, which is what I'm going to go with. So something like these flashcards, but using just the IPA symbol. So actually the flashcards themselves are very, I think, intuitive, because what's being pronounced is in red, right? And then I also want to point them to if they ever use an online dictionary. Search for a word, or okay, we'll put it here. Now, if you notice here, the word phoneme, they have this called phonetic standard, and it's phoneme. And then they have this IPA. And now we have this phoneme. Now, as an American, I'm more accustomed to this. But I'm teaching international students, and I think this will cover more sounds, and they can understand which sounds in their own language maybe later on that they use, and understand which sounds are different than their language. So I'm going to go with the IPA anyway, again, just to make them hyper aware of the sounds that are important in our language. This is kind of what I want to mimic. This is a really good one. So back to what chat was suggesting then. Chat was suggesting, so I like this interface because it keeps you very organized, and they really have stepped up the organization part. So I know that I'm in my ESL 920 and I've asked these questions and I can just jump back into them very easily. So good job right there with the OpenAI team. Now, what I want to do next is kind of go over what they were asking me, or what the instructions. So what I should go over next is these instructions here, because I just glossed over it the other day, and quite honestly, I got a headache. All right, so the way that the parameters I'm using, I want to be inside of a Google Apps Scripts environment. And for those of you who've never used Google Apps Scripts, it really is one of those. Let me get back to So this is my school account, and you go to Google Drive, and these little arrows stand for Google Apps Scripts, and you can see I have something called modal versus imperative, and I was using this for the summer. And how this works is you have something called GS files, Google Scripts files, and those are your server files. And then you have .html files, and those are the client side files. So as you can see here, I have my styles written in here. I've imported libraries like jQuery and jQuery UI and Bootstrap. And I would write all my JavaScript on this side. I've done some research, and they're saying it's not worth the pain of trying to use React. Most common apps nowadays use React or some modern library like Angular, Vue to kind of compile and run on faster virtual DOMs and the whole mess. But if I'm a teacher, I think that if I'm using Google Apps Scripts, I am going to stick with jQuery. I am going to stick with some of the libraries that you can, I guess older libraries in the sense that I forgot what they call them. I'm sure there's some dinosaur name for them that escapes me right now. Necessarily, it's like, okay, now we need to import the files. I'm going to try to make all my files so that all the client can fit into here and still be reasonably organized. If it gets so wieldy, like, wow, I can't follow this project, I don't think it was meant for Google Apps Scripts. And in that point, I need to start thinking of other alternatives, like Cloud Run or Firebase. So where would we store our audio files for the phonemes? I'd imagine that we can store it on our Google Drive. That might be an alternative. Or depending on, this is what I'm going to do right now. And I need to see if this is kosher or not. But I plan on creating a GitHub, right, of this project. Store my audio files there and then refer to those audio files on the project. It's going to be open source project, so I'd imagine that should be fine. And the likelihood of many students using it, unless this gets very popular, I doubt we'll get into the hundreds of thousands or anything like that would exploit the repo or anything like that. I don't think we're going to get in there anything like that, but you never know. So I might be looking for another place to store my files, maybe my own drive, maybe some kind of CDN. I know Google has something called Google Storage that we're supposed to use for those purposes, and I'll look into that. But if I'm a teacher and I'm not trying to get all super technical, how would I do it? Probably put it on my drive. I need to be able to advise teachers on these kind of projects. So I guess I have to look into that. I will get back. I'm going to have to stop right here. See, I've ran another 20 minutes. The good thing is it's only been 40 minutes of these think alouds. So I will be back later on today.